Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Hitman World of Assassination on my iPad Pro 11-inch with M1 and 16 gig of RAM. So let's have a look at the graphical options on offer. So I keep forgetting to talk about this in more depth in my other videos, but this is all we got on offer. We don't have any more advanced graphical options. Like you can't change the graphics preset from like low up to high or whatever. All you got is frame rate, which goes from 30 to 40 to 60. But spoiler alert, the game can't actually get 60 FPS on this device. So we also have options for metal effects spatial and metal effects temporal. Now, Metal Effects Temporal allows you to change some options. The game is frozen. There we go. Okay, not a great sign. But yeah, we can change performance, balanced, and quality. Now, what's interesting is that if you choose Metal Effects Spatial, you can't change anything, which is the same on all other devices. And we've also got mirrors reflection quality, which we can go from off up to high. And yeah, that's it. And let's give the game a go. I'm going to just show some destinations, some destinations. This is Hitman 1, World of Tomorrow. Now, as I was saying, this device is unable to pull off 60 frames with this game, which for me is no surprise. I mean, M1 isn't like it's not a powerhouse by any means for AAA games at the end of the day. Even on Mac, most AAA games are only really playable at 30 FPS, so this isn't too shocking, these results here. It's closer to 30 FPS at 834p with Metal Effects Spatial. So, yeah, some of you might be a bit disappointed, but like, you can't expect miracles. And also, sometimes I'm noticing the brightness is really high. I didn't notice this on my other devices, and I don't think you can change the brightness. This is mostly happening during cutscenes, like it's really bright, but I can't seem to alter it anyway. Anyway, here we go. So we're in. We're getting about 30 FPS. And I presume the game is running at about a mix of low and medium graphics. Texture quality is sometimes quite poor, for especially on shirt details. And you'll see that a bit later in a cutscene. Anyway, so we're getting 30 frames here. Let's play around with some settings. We obviously can't make the game run any better. Like turning this off isn't really going to do anything because you need to be around mirrors for that to have an effect. Okay, let's see what happens with Metal Effects Temporal on this device. Can we pull it off? So, fortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. I was kind of hoping that it would work here. I mean, because like iPads obviously have a much bigger display than an iPhone, and you can more easily see the artifacts with Metal Effects Spatial. Let's just do something silly and go up to quality and see what happens. So this is now running at 1334p. It looks pretty good, but it's running really bad. So what we're left with is needing to run the game. Oops. It'd be good if they could fix that so you don't have to go into temporal upscaling to change the mode for metal effects. Anyway, it looks like we need to play like this to get the game to be more enjoyable. What also is probably prudent is to enable a 30 FPS cap, because we're not really getting much over 30 FPS, and this will likely provide a better frame pacing, so we can get a frame interval of 33.33 milliseconds. So let's try that. Like, even 40 FPS isn't probably worth it. But see, that's much better. Like, we got a nice flat line in the metal HUD. And it's showing 33.35 milliseconds, which is good. That's targeting 29.99 FPS. It's doing that because we have a 120 Hz display. If it was 60 Hz, I think it would then show 30 FPS, not 29.99. Okay, here we are in Nightcall. Now, not judging it yet. Sometimes performance is a bit bad when you load into a save. Anyway, this scene isn't too complex, this destination, so the frame rate can go relatively high, up to about 50 FPS, but we're still not hitting 60 frames, obviously. And as I said, you can't get this game to hit 60 frames here. So in many ways, I think it probably would be a good idea for the developer to actually not allow for 60 frames per second, because it's probably going to make the device unnecessarily hot, aiming for a high FPS. But I mean, maybe 40 FPS on this device might work quite well in some scenes, like here. Look at that, we got a nice flat line in the HUD. And it's providing 25.01 milliseconds consistently. But what we are going to find is that we will sometimes have some shader compilation issues. And I didn't say this at the start, but this game, when you initially launch into a save, it will shader comp like you won't believe it. So I loaded all these saves before starting this video, so we didn't have that problem. But yeah, this is working quite well at 40 frames. It's not too bad. Okay, let's uncap the frame rate.
Welcome to Miami, 47. The innovation race is on its last day, and it is down to the wire. Thousands of eager fans are gathered for the final laps of this unexpectedly close race. Sierra Knox is expertly piloting her red Kronstadt car. Her father, Robert Knox, roams the nearby expo building where Kronstadt is showcasing its new prototype car. The Kronstadt RK Mark III has seen fierce competition from the Chinese Kowloon Heavy Industries' new racer. Moses Lee, CEO of Kowloon, has taken a dominant lead and looks invincible. Sierra Knox will need to risk it all if she wants to win for the third year in a row. The stakes are as high as they can get.
Hello, hello, hello. So here we are at the location, the finish line, in Hitman 2. Now, as per all my other videos, this scene is really, really hard to run on mobile. And this is likely due to the insane amount of NPCs here. And I think the game is CPU bottlenecked here, because if we look at the CPU metrics and the metal HUD, they are pretty high, which is making pulling off even 30 frames here difficult. Now, that being said, if you've watched my iPhone 15 Pro and 16 Pro in this scene, it is better here. This chip is still more powerful than the A18 Pro chip, so it's not as bad here. Like, I would actually say that if you don't have access to the metal HUD, you may be okay here. You might be okay. It's not dipping below 20 FPS, which is really, really, really distracting on the iPhone. Here it's hanging more closer to the mid-20s. So I think it's okay, but still it does struggle on this chip. Even on the M4 iPad Pro, it goes down to like 40 FPS. So I don't know. I'm just showing this as an example of a scene where the game really struggles here. Let's do something really stupid and go to Metal Effects Temporal Quality, which is 1334p. And now we'll see it struggles going down to 15 FPS. But this is running the game at a pretty high resolution, like above 1080p. So this is closer to how the iPhone was running at lowest settings possible. But if I go back to temporal, not temporal, spatial, no, damn it. Temporal, performance, spatial, there we go. There we go. So yeah, that's a lot better. Still, I think IO, the developer, could do a lot of the optimization right here, because this scene's just not good on anything. Here we are on top of the world. Now I've loaded up this destination as an example of mirror reflection quality, which is very noticeable in these mirrors over here. So let's go down here. So, let's turn her on. There we go. Let's turn on mirror's reflection quality. Here's low. Now, I just wanted to show this because it's this makes a pretty drastic difference to the visual quality here, as we can see our reflection in the mirror, and also that's a hot air balloon out there in the distance. Can we see it here? Yes. So I think that's good. Let's go up to high, see if that makes it go below 30 FPS. I just want to actually see if this effect has a noticeable impact on frame rate. So let's just sit here for a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Noting that's getting 32 FPS. Let's turn this off and see if it gets higher than 32 FPS. Okay, so we're getting about 34 FPS, 35, so plus 2 to 5 FPS. So it does lower it to some degree, but you know, you could probably enable this and then put a 30 FPS cap on and you may be okay. But this is just a very short demo of this tech. So let's go back to high and then do a 30 FPS cap. And let's see. Does this provide a nice 30 frames? I think so. Let's go up here. Let's climb up this. Okay, there's some stutters there and some shader comp going on. But overall, I think it's doing okay. Hello, here we are at the end of an era. I think that's what this destination is called, and it's quite fitting because we are getting towards the end of the video. Anyway, I wanted to show this scene here because this scene also has some performance issues here. It's not as significant as my iPhone 16 Pro Max and my iPhone 15 Pro, which went below 30 FPS, quite below 30 FPS. Here it's closer to 30 frames, but it's still not able to maintain that target, but it's doing a lot better. And I think, again, if you don't have access to the metal HUD, I think you can probably have an okay time here. I also want to test enabling a 30 FPS cap to see if this improves the frame interval, and it is still not. No, not really. Anyway, I want to go up. I want to go down here and then up the stairs, just because it's this. I love this destination. This place is gorgeous. It's got some beautiful, beautiful neon colors and purples, just saturating the visuals, and I just think it's beautiful to look at. And here we go. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And really nice reflections on the ground there too. Really good. But yeah, overall, guys, I think, from my opinion, the game is okay here. It's not too bad. If you're happy playing at 30 frames, I think you can probably have a good time. It performs considerably better than my iPhone 16 Pro Max and iPhone 15 Pro, and I think that simply comes down to the fact that the M1 chip is still a lot better than those chips. So yeah, I think if you're expecting to be getting 60 frames, I think from my perspective, that's a very unrealistic expectation. Like M1 isn't really capable of pulling off 60 frames. That's a very expensive target for M1. Even on a Mac, it's very expensive. So expecting that on a passively cooled iPad is not realistic in my view. So if you're happy with 30 frames, it does well here. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. See ya.